Fan Frenzy is where we're at. Fan Frenzy is the pod where you take control of the conversation. I tell you what, we are blessed with our wonderful listeners because we've managed to have 2 weeks of brilliant questions coming in. I love the insights. I love the insights into our listeners. So thank you very much. Keep up the good work, Tristan. Who have we got?
Who are we going with first? So I was just looking at hidden. I'm going to go with Kingsley for first up. So Kingsley has given us a race ranking of 7.83 out of 10.5. 10.45, sorry. Because he likes to be an outlier. Top Step results ups the ranking, but staged crowds would bring it back to maybe a 6. I never in my life have I read a more confusing race ranking.
I'm just looking at it. Yeah, it's unusual.
He tries to do that to
It's
throw
unusual.
Fan Frenzy.
It's thrown me. I don't know how you feel about the weekend, Kingsley. 3 to Oscar. Should have been 2 or even 1, as he just did his job and did it without any fuss.
When was your birthday, by the way?
I was on the Saturday.
It was on Saturday, that's right.
This Saturday gone.
So that
happy
might
birthday.
explain...
How old are you?
31.
That might
Really?
Yeah, Ocon number, yeah.
Oh, you
Kingsley
a lot older than
shares
31.
Kingsley shares the same birthday,
Ah.
and so I wonder if that's
I wonder
the
if that
purpose.
is. I wonder if he wrote this Sunday morning.
Possibly.
Maybe, possibly. Yeah, no team orders, no doubt he's got talent, just get in. So very up and about Kingsley there. 2 to Lewis, it's a sprint weekend, so his efforts for lap record and winning can't be overlooked.
We did overlook all that, didn't we?
I think
Yes.
most people did. Also, he did the team play a bit well in the main event, getting Leclerc through eventually. We can go over the post race stuff a bit later, but the man is just doing the right thing and building a legacy for himself that will do his brand good things in future post F1. And Wonder Bearman, his name just keeps popping up with good things on track that just weren't being said about during other races. Done of the day, there are other options beside. Oh, are there other options beside Ferrari? Maybe a crowd choreograph coordinator. I'm not sure where you're going with this crowd thing, Kingsley. Like, I'd like to know. The thing that caught my eye on the crowd more than anything was the people standing in that little teardropped window hole of that, just and looking directly down to turn 1. There's a group of about 10 people there, and then at the side of the grandstand beyond that point was a ledge just popping out from the left of the grandstand. Both of those standing things caught my... But Kingsley, I'm not sure, the crowd thing, I didn't pick up on that in a way that you have. So, yeah, the shots of the fans, they were just cringeworthy apparently. But yeah, Ferrari by far. Both cars out for 2 different reasons. I asked the question of your reserve podcaster, who has had more disqualifications for rule infringement in the past 10 years. Do you know this, Sam?
I went with Ferrari is the one that's been most disqualified because of
factual or guessed or.
Basically, when he asked me was within the past 5 years, so he's changed the question.
Yes, it's 10 years.
So
we'll find out the exact one for you, Kingsley, and we'll get back to you too. Lawson's up there as a special mention along with Red Bull for having a team that is complete opposites. No other team has consistently had such a huge gap between driver results. The second Red Bull seat is cursed. It seems to be a real thing. Thanks, Kingsley. Who's up next? Who you got, Sam?
I'll go with Dr. Autoart.
Chris.
Going for a nice 6 out of 10 like I did. Not a thrilling race, but not an absolute snooze. He went 3 points Piastri for a perfect quality and a great race day. 2 points to Bearman. Fun to watch him come all the way through the pack and giving the chow as he goes past everyone. And 1 point to Hamilton. It was hilarious watching the recap on that. And 1 point to Hamilton for his sprint race quali and winning only his second weekend in red. Unfortunate for the disqualification, which he brings up in his dud for Ferrari getting the double DQ. Hero of the moment, Antonelli. Not really. How did he get driver of the day? Yeah. He actually gave it to Ocon. As much as it pains me to say, he's really making the most out of that Haas seat. His question is, I'm sure you'll have covered in the main podcast, but will Red Bull give Lawson a decent chance, or do you think he will sack him off early? And by the way, Roger, how's Lawson sleeping?
Oh,
gotcha.
No, Chris, don't ask that.
How
I don't
is he
care.
sleeping?
No one cares.
How is he sleeping? Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. He is sleeping at the garage with the car, and he's guarding it. He's not really sleeping. He's trying to keep an eye open, but he keeps nodding off, and he's got a little baseball bat and a torch, and he's guarding the car because he's worried that Yuki's going to try and sneak in the night and jump in his car and take it away. So he's sleeping up against his car with a little torch.
Chris, don't encourage this.
It's a great question.
Chris, it's a good question, but you could let the last bit off. Who have you got?
Are they going to give him a decent chance? We did sort of cover it.
Yeah,
but
we sort of did, yeah.
No is the answer.
No, okay.
Or is this enough of a chance, do you think?
Yeah, probably. If you're dead
okay.
last 3 times, it's probably going to be dead last.
I think Adam
time, aren't
Hughes
you?
is next. He's got a race ranking of 5 out of 10.
Oh, Adam.
But he's given it a 3-point bump because of the Oscar performance. So it's gone to 7. So
Right.
Adam
so
gives
I
it
was gonna
a
say,
3-point. I'll give a 1-point bump for an Aussie driver.
Yes, you do.
He goes a 3. I like
Okay,
that.
that's good.
Oscar class drive for 3 points. Destroyed Norris all weekend. 2 points to Russell for getting the job done. And Doohan. Young Jack Doohan gets 1 point.
Really?
With Gandalf defence.
Yeah.
Like I say, I really enjoyed it. I don't know that he necessarily nailed it, but I did enjoy it, and it'll be good for him. The other day, Red Bull, Just Lawson was the wrong call. DR is the only answer to help Red Bull. He likes the same car setup as Max. He used to like the same race car setup as Max.
Yeah.
He used to. I'm not convinced that the old Dan would be the same as this Dan in terms of being able to drive the same car. I reckon they probably would have gone down the Max path a lot more since Dan left.
Yep.
However, he did do that test in that car,
That's good enough for a second.
and he out drove Perez, didn't he? So, yeah, he could be onto something there. He could be onto something. I wonder what Dan is doing. He's enjoying some retirement. And he's been a little bit invisible.
I've been meaning
Lots of
to
ads.
buy a bottle of his.
Rosé.
Yeah, Paige and I have tried it.
How
Any
is
good?
it?
Goes well. It's a rosé. It goes pretty well. Like he's also got the Shiraz, the Cab Merlot,
The
a lot of other-
DR3.
Yep.
Yep.
So a fair few, like really good reds apparently that you can get from Dan Murphy's. Not that we're encouraging drinking on the podcast, but
What do you
we've
mean?
had beards. So
What do you mean?
We're encouraging. It's the first half an hour of the show.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Hero of the hour has to be Oscar, just class. His ceiling looks so high. It's scary. I'm scared of heights, I think. Adam, over to you.
Nat Pollard gives us a race ranking of 6. Time management killed the potential of race. 3 to Oscar, first pole converted to victory. 2 to Ocon, drove the wheels off the Haas. And 3 to Behrman and Hadjar. Oh, sorry, I think it's 1, 3. Behrman and Hadjar, great overtake. Stud, Red Bull, any other young driver about to have his... Another young driver about to have his career go from flames before it begins. Hero, the young Chinese lady who was in tears of joy after Oscar won.
She was keen, wasn't she?
Oscar has passionate fans everywhere. And a question. Is it just... Yes, Nat. I mentioned this to you Saturday. Is it just me, or does the audio go softer for post-quali race interviews compared to regular commentary? Watching on KO. Yes, Nat, it absolutely does.
Tell us around the world. Does this happen around the world, or is it just our provider?
Because I feel like, Nat, you're 100% correct. Because the Sky commentary is very audible. And then suddenly we flick to the F1 sort of based ones, and it is almost dead silent. I found myself trying to turn it up, and then... Well, I found that out the hard way when I cranked it right up, and then
they went away from it.
Straight back to Sky. I nearly blasted the frames off my wall. So no, Nat, I picked up that Saturday, and I 100% agree with you. Yes, it does. But other people, let us know. Does your feed change? Sam, who have you got next?
I'm going to go for Jason Carter. Race was a solid 7.5. The 0.5 for a reasonable start time in Australia. He goes 3 points Oscar. It was a lesson for Lando in how a number 1 driver behaves. He gave then 2 points to Lando for being a team player and 1 vote for the handsome man George. No fuss or fanfare, just a bag of points. Dud of the day for the aerodynamics team at Ferrari. Your car went faster when your front wing was broken. And then his question is, other than a race official, who has the best access in the paddock? So they can walk into every garage, hospitality, etc., etc. suppose it's that behind the scenes question that you wanted from last pod.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
Okay. Who has the best access? I think in Australia, some people that have really, really good access would be the people who provide the garage tours. Because obviously they can go into garage, into pit lane, through the paddock, out the back, kind of everywhere in that sort of section. Would you agree, mate?
And there's a lot of them.
There's
isn't
a lot,
there?
a lot of them doing it rotationally.
And like you listen in sometimes, and they got some really great general knowledge of Formula One and the ins and the outs. They sort of talk about,
Yep.
oh, this is where they're going for this part, and they'll do this and this at this stage of the weekend, and so no, they do that. They
have access to the replica parts, to the marketing replica parts. For VIPs that go into the pit lane and they actually have replica steering wheels. But I know that they're replica because this year I saw Williams. The girl left the box on the ground in front of it and it is labelled as VIP replicas. And within that they pull out steering wheels and all bits and pieces and that. So I think they have excellent access.
Yeah, I reckon the pit lane reporters have some pretty great access.
They have really good access.
I mean, to be able to be...
Yep.
It would be... At times, it would be a scary job because every time you went to move in the pit lane, you'd be like, am I going to get run over by a car that I've missed or a team? Am I getting in a team's way? But that would be a really good one. I mean, probably not access to others, but to be on that pit wall...
Just areas.
I took lots of photos of the data on the pit wall. And Jason, when we're next going for a ride... Jason and I ride mountain bikes.
Have a look at it.
So,
it's we were beside ourselves.
Sometimes when I'm going to bed at night and I'm feeling a little bit frisky, I'll bring up the data walls that I took photos of, and it just
we were standing in pit lane, and all of these people are watching the cars, and here we are standing right next to the seats of one of the team, and we are just frothing over your phone. We're like, oh, look at that sector. What does that mean?
And so like, just the picture of the lap is just the next level. So they've got like decision call,
latest,
and then it was last call
point.
and that last call was only that was before that was coming out of the third last corner.
Yeah.
And that's the last call they can make on pits.
The way that the sectors are broken up is just, you wouldn't even think to break it up like that. It's brilliant.
Yep. And it is some cool stuff.
Yeah.
So to be on a pit wall with all that information coming in would be so magnificent. And then for the cars to be pitting behind you, that would be...
Marshals as well, Jason, fire marshals and stuff like that. But, I mean, obviously they're doing a job based for safety as well. But even the ones sort of in pit lane, they just have such a fantastic vantage point of the exit to the track.
And the fire marshals have got a great job because their
Absolutely.
literal job is to watch out for fire, and there's not that many of them these days.
No, and it's just fantastic. That's a really great spot too. So, no, it's a good question, Jason.
Yes. Is it my go?
Who are you going with, mate?
I don't know. Paul Cook.
Okay.
5 out of 10. I fell asleep halfway through the race.
No, Paul.
3 to Piastri, solid race weekend. 2 to Hadjar for making the last 15 laps somewhat interesting. And Stroll, because why not? I don't mind that. Dard Red Bull may give you wings, but not ones that work. Poor Yuki. Oh, poor Yuki already. He's already gone to the poor Yuki. I like this. I like that. His hero of the hour is F1 IT department for finally producing a fantasy app that works well and loads fast. It only took 5 years. Good call.
You know it.
His question. What do you want?
No, you go. I'll come to it later.
His question's good. His question's good.
What's his question?
And I like this. Paul's is given to me a little bit. His question is your night to cook dinner and the family wants Chinese pasta.
Oh, yeah.
What ingredients?
Tell me. Yeah.
What ingredients are you throwing in a Chinese
Enlighten
pasta?
us. What are you putting in?
I'm glad you asked.
Oh, me too.
I'm glad you asked.
What are you putting in your Chinese pasta?
Good Chinese pasta. And I'm telling you, this is the good stuff. You don't go down the road to the dodgy joint. You gotta go. You gotta go to where the locals go for their Chinese pasta.
Such as Brazilian driver Gabriel Bortoleto. Continue.
That's right. So, what you got to do is it's got to be a spaghetti-like pasta. So thin. I'm looking really thin. Angel hair-like pasta.
You can only get in China.
5 minutes. 5 minutes to cook. Salted water, as per the Italians. Okay. That's where we start moving away from the Italian way. All right, we're slicing up some Chinese sausage. Had Chinese sausage before, Tristan?
I didn't even know they had
It
sausages
is.
in
Have you
China.
had Chinese sausage
No, I
before?
have never
You
had
haven't had
Chinese
Chinese sausage? Oh, you're missing out. Very fatty. Very, very processed. Think salami and then process it twice again. Okay, so it is very processed. It's skinny. Generally what you do is you steam it and then you slice it up. So that's going into your pasta mix before the pasta goes in, obviously. Now, what is in all good Chinese food? MSG. You're loading that stuff in. Tablespoons of the stuff. MSG straight in. Some spring onion, because spring onion's in all Asian food, okay? And it just adds a little bit of crisp. Spring onion, Chinese sausage, MSG, and probably, and this is a little controversial. But we're going to chuck in just a little bit of soy. A little bit of soy. Usually with a pasta it's not on, but for Chinese pasta, we're on. So enjoy that. Enjoy that one, Paul.
It sounds like when I'm at home by myself and I have to make tea, it sounds like what I do when I blindly go to the cupboard and just grab the first thing and throw it together and then end up ordering Subway.
Ah, you missed out on the nice meal, that one.
Yeah.
You didn't even know MSG came in tablespoons, did you?
I didn't even know China had sausages.
There you go.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Right, who have we got next? We've gone all over the place in the order here. I'm trying to keep up with where we are. Paige, I'll go with Paige, your lovely other half.
My
Sam.
wife.
Race ranking of 5 out of 10. Gee, for Mrs. McLaren, can we dub her that? Probably. Race ranking of 5 out of 10. Yeah. I found
Everyone's down and out about this race.
No, yeah,
Cheer up, everybody.
I know, far out. I found that Chinese Grand Prix to be a bit dull, especially when comparing it to Melbourne, but it'd be nice as it was an extra point just because Piastri won, so 6 out of 10. 3 to Piastri, a world-class drive, absolutely flawless. 2 to Lando, proving brakes off of Sooks, and 1 to Ocon. Somehow managed to get Haas into the points. Good work. Done of the day, Ferrari in every possible way. Hero of the hour, Bernd Mailander, who has been the official safety car driver for 25 years, which I thought deserved a special mention. Absolutely, Paige. That's a nice nod there. You know who else is a cheeky hero of the hour for me? Do you remember last year when we had
that jacket that George was wearing?
Yeah, it's, like I said, it's so good it's bad, but it can't live in hero of the hour. You know when we had the onboard, but it was from the front wing view, and then instead of being able to enjoy the camera angle of the front wing, we had to go and smatter the screen with stupid graphics in the exact eye line that you want to watch. Well, that's disappeared. So hero of the hour to the F1 graphics department, who have realised that I don't want to see turns and kilometres on the asphalt. I just want to watch the raw, front wing footage. So anyway,
good one.
That's just one for me. Question, what's your go-to thing to cheer yourself up after a long day? Asking for a Ferrari fan. For me, it's cuddles with my bunny and a nice cold beer.
Now, are
Are
you
the
bunny?
Everyone's getting heckled on this episode. Chinese pasta and bunnies. There's your title, Rod.
Are you? Don't.
No. We actually do have a
Yes,
pet
you
rabbit. We do have a pet rabbit who does enjoy Chinese pasta.
It's a cool little rabbit. It seems to dart around the joint a lot. I see little videos and have a giggle every time.
Tristan's out.
Excellent. I like it. What do you do to cheer yourself up after a long day?
Yeah.
Still laugh about that, I suppose.
Not cuddle Sam. I don't know.
Do you go and visit him? Do you go and visit your bunny?
Hey, buddy.
Unfortunately, he's lost. He's lost the reserve driver title, and he's Bunny Sam.
Damn it.
So good. Far out. I don't know. That's great.
Paige, I haven't seen this happy on a podcast for a long time, Paige. Cut it out.
Gosh. Hero of the hour, Paige. Great work.
One of my
do you do?
favourite things to do is have a whiskey
Yep.
while I'm cooking dinner.
Cool.
And so having a whiskey while I'm cooking dinner is just I try not to do it very often.
Yep.
Having a beer while cooking dinner is a short second, but yeah, I quite like that. A bit of routine with the cooking, a nice Chinese pasta. But yeah, just the whiskey though is the next level. If it's just Otherwise, jumping on the mountain bike, that's my thing.
Yeah, that's good. I think I like building with H. Like, just you have a bad day at work, you come home, and then he wants to just build something out of Duplo. And I just enjoy just sitting there, like, just doing that with him.
I feel like my whiskey's going to be shitter now that I'm not having a cuddle with Bunny. But anyway. Who's next?
Who's next? Who have you got, Sam?
I'll go with Dean Holt. So he's gone
cool.
for a race ranking of 4 out of 10. Happy for Oscar taking the win, but it was the most dull of the time watching most of the grid tyre saving for about 50 laps. Felt like I had a stroke there, sorry. 3 points to Russell, drove a solid race and was the only one that kept in touch with the McLarens. 2 points to Ocon, no idea how he got the Haas into 7th, which later became 5th. And 1 point to Behrman, excellent drive on one of the few drivers that actually overtook the cars. Dud, just the team's tyre saving was boring to watch. Question: with Liam struggling, what would you do if you were Red Bull? I know we've covered this throughout the podcast, but he's put down his theory, which is I think they missed out on an opportunity in the second half of the season when it was obvious that they weren't winning the Constructors. They could have had Dan or Perez in that seat, because if Max leaves next season, they are screwed. As they could have had given Yuki, Liam, Dan, or possibly Hadjar all 2 or 3 races in Perez's car. If all 4 failed, then they need to look at finding a setup that somebody else can drive in the second car, because if Max leaves next season, they're all screwed. Yeah, that's pretty much the summary of the main pod.
They missed the opportunity to trial Dan last year, didn't they? When Perez wasn't doing anything and wasn't bringing anything to the team, you had to go and find out whether Dan could still drive that car. They missed that opportunity. You can't go back there now.
No.
Yeah.
I think we've discovered the right answer for this situation is you drop Max out of that team and watch him win the World Championship with Racing Bulls. I think that's the answer, isn't it?
Yeah, the unreasonable
We
answer is
put
correct.
Verstappen into the Racing Bull and you promote whoever you want, and Max is probably going to win the World Championship from a Racing Bull. I think that's the only way. And you guys will be happy because you quite like the look of that car. I don't know how many we've got left.
I think we've got one more left, which
Shane?
is Shane's, yeah.
Simon Blackburn.
Race ranking,
Jordan.
7, only because Oscar won. 3 to Oscar all weekend, great all weekend. Ocon, 2 points. In the points, didn't crash. George solid again for 1. The dud, the fanboys and girls voting for Kimi,
Yeah.
staying in the same position as he started before the DNFs in Driver of the Day. How on earth is Kimi Antonelli
just popularity contest, that's all it is.
Anyway, Dud 2, person who measures things at Ferrari. Good point. He is not a very good measurer. And Dud 3, Liam Perez. Question: what are your thoughts on the return of the V10s?
Love it if they sound like they did in years gone past.
Yeah, I've just got questions about where motives, purposes.
Interesting. Jordan Pancraz, race ranking 6.5, had some good moments but fairly standard overall. 3 to Piastri, looked in control the whole race and loved his personality coming out during the post-race interview. 2 to Ocon, the Haas looked much better than last week and he had a solid race. And 1 to Albon, lots of people saying Carlos was going to show him up and he's proved that wrong so far. Dud of the day, Ferrari doing Ferrari things. Hero of the hour, variance in performance from sprint to race. I don't mind that, Jordan, because you often get a replica of sprint into race. So that's a really nice point you've made there. I was worried they were going to basically be the same, but was pleasantly surprised and the pace between two teams was totally different. Question. I feel like Bortoletto is having a similar start to Russell's first season. Yes, great point. A car with no real pace but putting in consistent drives and looking good versus his teammate. Do you think Bortoletto could have a similar career arc and find himself in a winning team after a few years? Yes, Jordan, I totally agree. Listen to main episode and I have mirrored your exact thoughts.
He's doing everything you'd hope from a rookie at the moment. Quite a few people put some big raps on him early on. So I think so.
Nice one. Nice one, cool. We got one more? Simon Blackburn, I think it is, Sam.
Yep.
Yes, and then I saw your question. I want to answer your question.
Yeah, I've been really meaning to ask that.
All right, go for it. Read Simon's and then I'll
Absolutely, let's go. Simon Blackburn, race ranking of 6 out of 10. Great Oscar win, but aside from a couple of things, it was a bit underwhelming. 3 points Ocon, 2 points Oscar, 1 point Albon. Pretty much saying all the things were said throughout the podcast. Hero Lawson for helping solidify the fact that the second Red Bull Racing seat is a poison chalice. Maybe a lot of the Perez haters are eating their words a little bit. Dud, how the driver of the day works. No idea how Antonelli got that, and neither did he. And his question is, with more of the Max to Merc in 26 talks coming up, what are the vibes for you guys?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't dislike it. I can see it happening, and if it did happening, I would actually kind of be all for it.
Antonelli out, Max in.
Gee, George and Max would be a pretty lethal combination, wouldn't it?
Geez, you're talking George up lately.
I am incredibly impressed with what he's doing, absolutely.
2 races.
I'm incredibly impressed with what he's doing.
I'm a wait on George. George hasn't proven anything for me yet.
That's a good lineup, though. Like, if you're a team principal and George and Max are there in your shed, that's a very, very good lineup.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Very good.
Yeah, I'd be Aston Martin is just as much in the hunt as that one. I think Toto was the only one who keeps on bringing up Max coming to Mercedes, whereas I think everyone else brings up Max going to Aston Martin. What's the question? What's the last?
So the question, Sam's question was, what did I think of the trophy? Because I'm glad you asked, Sam, because I really liked it.
Tristan Race
I
trophies.
thought it was a fantastic trophy across the race weekend. It's called Blue Willow, which is, that Chinese dinnerware that you get. It's like the artwork
Yes, that was
that
the
you get on
impression
it.
I got, yep.
But it was all little things like...
Yeah, tell me it's not called China, like our mums used to call it.
No, that's what the blue...
That's the good China.
I'm talking about...
No, but that's what they used to call it.
I know.
Yeah.
You'll have some. Your mum will have some. My mum has cupboards full of this stuff. So the blue pattern on the China is called Blue Willow, I think it's called. But it had little race cars and little checkered flags and little champagne. I thought they were fantastic,
classy,
absolutely fantastic trophies. They had a nod to the heritage and a nod to the culture, and
they're still gold.
They were still gold and silver and bronze, and they were simple, and yet they were incredibly effective, and I really liked it. A question I have around trophies, though, we saw the Louis Vuitton case, which is coming with the trophies now.
Yeah.
It's not the same case, because that was my first wondering. Is this just one case that we're putting these trophies in and we're promoting?
Are you sure?
Yeah, because of the stripes on the front are colours consistent with the location that we are. So they were green and gold in Australia, and they were white and red.
Oh,
red and
yellow. Sorry, they were red and yellow.
Okay,
I can't remember, but they were different. So I thought, okay, maybe we've got a different box.
They were loading lots of different cases and boxes in around the media centre
we were having a look at that
weekend.
Yep,
and I think there's a range of different, because I think there was a Louis Vuitton box, which it all goes on. And then there was,
comes in.
For the Australian one, there was actually a wooden box that the trophies came out of before then.
So I wonder if like Oscar's one on the weekend. I know he'll get the trophy and the medal and the the factory.
They go to McLaren.
McLaren will get that, but do they get the Louis Vuitton box that it comes in? If it is in fact a new box per round, I just wonder who gets the box.
But then you just got a random empty box like all your laptop boxes you get at home after you. I don't know.
It's cool. You'd want it.
Yeah,
absolutely. You would.
It would fit the headquarters beautifully.
I think it's the
Louis Vuitton is probably the one thing I'm missing.
When I look around at the headquarters, I constantly am annoyed with you that there isn't a Louis Vuitton box in here, because
yes, I know.
I know you're letting everyone down. Anyway, so that's the end of Fan Frenzy.
Did you like the trophy, Sam?
Did you like it?
I really did. I really did like it. It looks as good as the Singapore one that I brought up last year, and as good as the Jack Brabham trophy that we had in Australia, but that's a bit more historic. This one just looked nice, clean. You want on your mantelpiece.
Yeah.
That's
What did you think of the trophy, mate?
Yeah, look good.
I liked it.
I like the ones that represent the countries.
Yeah, I think
and they look
too.
pretty.
I'm not sorry about that stupid one Lewis got for the looked like a 3D printed project from a 12-year-old.
For the sprint race?
Yeah, it wasn't.
Well, you shouldn't really get much for a sprint race.
No, that's fair.
It's
They
points.
didn't.
Good points.
I like their individual ones that look like the Chinese coins, but I don't know what that Pirelli thing was.
Going to get rid of the medallion anytime soon?
I'm a bit impartial on the medallion. I think it's
pointless.
It's like a trophy and a certificate, isn't it?
Yeah. Do the drivers get that because they don't necessarily get the trophy every time?
Maybe it's a little keepsake as well, possibly.
Yep.
That's a good point. Anyway, good. And thanks to everyone.
I think the Formula 1 should be supplying... I don't know. Yeah. They get the construction one. Just one of the drivers get to keep the other one. Yeah.
I reckon they do.
Anyway, yeah, I got lost my thought there. But anyway, Fan Frenzy, that was it. See you in a couple of weeks. Goodbye.